Hey everyone, it's JG. We're playing Raid Shadow Legends, and it's another summoning day today. So for the Morrigaine fusion, which I am definitely going for, it's the Summon Rush starting today, and we're going to need to get at least 2150 points in that to pick up the fusion rare. There's really no wiggle room in this fusion to avoid any rares. So we're going to have to get that one. And so I'm going to talk through a little bit on shard pull strategy for Summon Rushes, and then we're going to pull some shards. So before we fully dive in, I just wanted to flash up some interesting stats that might be useful to you. So in every fusion event, whether we're talking a fragment fusion or a classic fusion, you generally need to compete in both the champion chase and the summon rush in order to get the legendary at the end. When it's a fragment event, you usually need to do the minimum in one of these, the minimum level that gives fragments, and then one of them you have to compete a little extra hard and get to the second tier of fragments. But unless you're planning on taking first place in some of your tournaments, which is generally not easy to do, then this is what you're going to have to do to get them. And I wanted to throw up this table of what kinds of shards get how many points in each of these. And so the Summon Rush, it takes a very predictable number of shards to finish these. You get points just based on what type of shard you open. The Champion Chase, you get points for acquiring champions of higher rarities. And so in those, pulling during a 2x event is going to get more points. You can also earn some points by fusing some fragment champions that you've saved up from prior events. Actually, fairly recently, I think early in the month, I did my Rosin Scarhide fusion to help with Marinix. But if you're doing it all from shards, these are sort of the expected rates here. And so looking at this, for a champion chase, that first milestone is usually 2,500 points. For a summon rush, it's usually 2,150. Summon rush, it doesn't matter whether you have a 2x event or anything like that going on, because it's just what kind of shard you open. In champion chase, a 2x event can decrease the number of shards required because you're more likely to get epic and legendary champions. And so based on the expected values from these shard types, for the champion chase, on average, it's going to take you 2,200 mystery shards if you're just using those to go for the points, 79 ancient shards on average, 32 void shards, 9.4 sacred shards. These numbers go down a fair amount, especially for ancient shards during a 2x event. For the void and sacred shards, the numbers don't change all that much. Then compare that with a summon rush where you need 2,150 points. These numbers are exact because the numbers don't vary based on the rarity that you're getting out of these, but it takes this many. And the thing I want to call out here is in a champion chase, ancient shards, it takes fewer ancient shards to get to that first milestone than it does ancient shards to get to the summon rush milestone. For void and sacred shards, it's the exact opposite. And so in terms of the percentage of that particular event that you will accomplish by pulling one of these shards, it's better to pull sacreds and voids in summon rushes. It's better to pull ancients in champion chase. And at any point, if you need just a few hundred more points, mystery shards are a pretty solid way to do that. You can get thousands, of course, if you're willing to grind thousands of mystery shard pulls and you have that many stockpiled. But anyway, with today being a summon rush event, there's also a 10x event going on for void and sacred shards. So void and sacred shards are definitely a useful one to be thinking about pulling today to hit your summon rush milestone. So for me, it's definitely sacred shards that I'm looking at. As I've mentioned before, I like to stockpile these to the level that I can compete in a guaranteed champion event. My void shards, I'm getting a bigger stockpile than I've ever had before, but not yet to the 80 value that's my kind of bank threshold there. Sacred shards, the threshold is 15. I've been above that for a while. Actually, just this morning I got really lucky. Of my 4 clan boss chests from Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, I picked up 3 extra sacred shards. So I can pull up to 9 here if I want to. And although I only need sort of 4 plus a little change, maybe in mystery shards, if I want to hit the summon rush threshold, the event here is not too bad today. So these are the champions we have on 10x, and the void legendaries, unless you're close to Mercy on that, that's probably not something you should expect to be getting out of those unless you're pulling a lot of them. But Madame Sarah's for a void shard. If I wasn't trying to save my void shards, that's one that I would definitely be willing to go for. But for me, looking at sacred shards, All these legendaries are ones that I don't have and ones that I'm pretty interested in. I do have Husk for the epics, but Allure is a really great epic that I would be excited to own. And if I'm opening Sacred Shards, each one is close to a 1 in 12 chance to get Allure. If I'm pulling just 6 shards or so, I'm about 50-50 on whether I'm going to get her. So that's something that makes it worth it for me to consider pulling a few extra Sacred Shards today. Unfortunately, the rewards from the Summon Rush event aren't too exciting to me. It's mostly chickens and XP barrels and things. There are 2 legendary books available, but you have to get to pretty high point levels there. They're probably higher than what I'm going to get to. But I'm going to start with the sort of 5 that I need to get to the Summon Rush threshold, and then let's see if it's worth it for me to open any more. All right, here we go. Good luck. Fingers crossed. First up, Duplicate Husk. Jarang here, that's new for me. Let's look at this real quick. Okay, ignore defense on an A1. 100% chance for single target stun. 3 times at random to place decreased defense. That's obviously going to be pretty inferior to AoE decreased defense, which is what I'm going for. Single target stun, also not exciting. I've got better crowd controllers. So this is a Vault Guardian here. Duplicate Farrakhan the Fat for me. That'll go into Faction Guardian, but otherwise not exciting. Allure! There we go. So let me talk to you about why I was excited about this one. This is an event that I was not disappointed to be pulling in. So it's really about this A1 here. So she has attacks 3 times at random, decreases the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. So she is magic type and not void type. That means this isn't going to be as great against a force type champion, since there's going to be a chance to weak hit. But if you build her with max crit rate, this is 75% turn meter reduction on an A1. That is pretty phenomenal. That's one of the best turn meter decrease abilities in the game. Because it is attacks at random, that makes it a little bit situational. So the place where Allure really, really shines is Fire Knight. Because Fire Knight has no minions, the 3-hit is great if you're talking about just dropping the Fire Knight's shield, and then once the shield is down, 75% turn meter suppression is going to stop him from putting that shield back up. So with Allure in the mix, with good speed and crit cap, she can pretty much stop the Fire Knight from ever getting another turn. So that is pretty fantastic. Also, if you ever want to go for that faction quest of kill the Fire Knight before he gets a turn, Allure is great to help with that. The rest of the kit here is not bad. Let's see, we've got the weak version of decreased defense and a sleep debuff if that places. On a 2-hit, attacks all enemies. Let's see, the way it says places sleep, so I think it's 30% chance, which books to a 30, 40, 50% chance on each hit, so a pretty good chance of placing it. And then after that, no chance of failure for placing a sleep debuff on them. Situational. Sleep is not the very best of the crowd control debuffs, but that can have some value as well. The A3 is just a single target hit when ascended, ignores 50% of defense. That could potentially hit hard. I don't know how good her multipliers are, because really, it's a lot more about this A1 than anything else. Honestly, I think in a lot of situations, I would just disable the A2 and A3 and run with this. And we've also got an accuracy aura, faction only. But yeah, so the A1's where it's at. I'm really happy that I got Allure today. That was kind of my biggest goal in doing this. And so let's see, that was 4 shards for me. I need 1 more to get the fusion rare. And since I already picked up Allure, I don't think I'm pulling any more of these sacred shards today. I'll be saving them for another event. But let's do that 5th one, see if we get anything good. Frostbringer. I think I might have her already, but I don't think she's anything to be too excited about. Yeah, again, this is a chance of random chance of placing decreased defense. That's not as good as an AOE. So let's see. Okay, yeah, we do have a speed and attack buff. This isn't bad. Let's see, Sacred Order, possibly for my Sacred Order faction team, but this is not something that's going to replace the other champions that I already have. So there it is, 5 Sacred Shards. I'm pretty happy. I got an epic that I was chasing. That's it for today. JG out.